Hello everyone, I'm Yao, and today I'll be giving a speech on how to prepare a Ghanaian-based jollof rice. Now I know a lot of people do not know what jollof rice is, but basically it is a big deal in Africa, especially in Ghana. And today I'll be giving you guys the breakdown from the ingredients to the process of how I make my special Ghanaian jollof rice. So the first thing I'm gonna start with is by listing the ingredients. Now there are five super important ingredients, actually about six ingredients that I'm gonna list. These are the most important ingredients. You're gonna need some tomatoes, you're gonna need onions, you're gonna need pepper, garlic, you're gonna need ginger, and you're gonna need rice. These are the six important recipes. You're gonna need roughly about 5 to 6 tomatoes if you're preparing a medium amount. You're not doing too a large amount of jollof rice, just about 6 tomatoes for medium, 3 onions, about 2 peppers, 2 garlic, and just a quarter of the ginger, of just one ginger, just a quarter of it. The other um the other ingredients are rice. You're gonna need oil. If it's optional, this one's optional. If you wanna add chicken to it, or you wanna add like any protein choice, that is your choice. But that is not really part of it. That's just like an optional thing at the side. But it is good to add the flavor when you, for especially when you boil the chicken. It has the flavor that comes out of it. It is pretty good to add that to your recipe. It adds some extra dramatic flavor to it that everyone tends to like. And you got oil, like I stated earlier. You need salt and seasoning. These are basically all the ingredients. So let's get right into it. So the first thing is to prepare the ingredients that you're gonna use. You prepare them by washing them, making sure that they're clean. But particularly the very first thing we do is to cook the stew base. And so we're gonna wash the tomatoes, the pepper, the onion, the garlic, and the ginger. We're gonna wash them and we're gonna chop them into smaller slices because you can't possibly blend them while they're so huge in the blender. You're gonna have to cut them in a particular size so that it all fits into the blender. I like to blend everything at once. I don't do it separate. So I have a way of cutting them so that they all fit perfectly in the blender, and I add a little bit of water and I blend it. This is super important and it's so crucial to make the jollof rice because this is the stew base, which forms like 50 to 60% of the jollof. So you have to make sure you get this part right with the right amount of quantities and make sure it is well blended. After blending the stew base, you're gonna um, we're gonna pour oil into your pot, and we're gonna allow it to just turn on the fire for about 5 minutes so that the oil becomes hot enough. The next step we're gonna do is to pour the tomato paste inside. I know I did not mention the tomato paste in my ingredients. It did skip my mind. I am really sorry about that. We're gonna pour the tomato paste. So basically the tomato paste, it's basically tomato, but they have done it in like a paste form, but it does add extra flavor to the jollof rice. So you're gonna pour that into the oil. That's the first thing you're gonna do. You're gonna stir it for about 5 to 10 minutes because originally it tastes kind of sour, and so you need to stir it up in the fire, cook it up to make it taste sweet. Then we're gonna pour the blended mixture of the tomatoes, onions, pepper, ginger, and garlic. You're gonna pour that into the fire and you're gonna mix it up. And basically the stew is ready when you see that the oil has separated from the rest of the stew. So if you see like the oil on top of like the stew, then you know that your tomato base is ready. So while the tomato base or the tomato stew is on fire, I usually advise that you start washing the rice so that it wouldn't take too much time, so that right when the stew is ready, you're able to pour the rice into it. Once the rice is poured inside, you're gonna pour water, and this is where the optional but important part comes in, because if you're using chicken, you can pour the stock from the chicken into the rice and the stew base instead of water. It makes it taste literally so delicious. After some time, you just mix it up. You leave it on the fire for about 30 minutes. You make sure to stir it occasionally so that the pot under the pot does not burn. You stir it instantly, and then later in about 30 minutes, you would check and see. And realize that jollof rice is ready. But one thing I usually like to do is to put either aluminum foil and tissue on top of the pot. It has a way of steaming the rice properly. And there you go. That's just simple, fast, easy recipe on how to cook jollof rice. I hope this video has made it kind of easy for you to have an idea of what jollof rice looks like and what it kind of like it would taste like. And for me, the important part is the chicken. For me, the protein makes the meat diet, okay? And usually with the jollof rice, we have this kind of stew, we call it chateau. We usually add it to the jollof rice, and it's impeccable. Like, that combo is literally amazing. And some people also decide to add chopped vegetables on your side. It's basically your preference, but this is just a general overview on how to cook the jollof rice. Thank you for listening. Bye. See you.